morning. Welcome to the Morning Spike. I'm Brian the Grizzly here with Alec. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Do you know what today is?
The worst day of the year because I got to talk about the damn NFC East.
It is the best division in all of football, baby. We're talking about the NFC Beast, the East. Let's go.
I was so not excited. I was like, gosh, darn it. Like, here we go. I don't know. This division is really interesting. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I think there's one guarantee. The best roster belongs in Philadelphia. I think that goes without saying. I think overall, top to bottom, the best roster is Philadelphia. But there have been a lot of draft picks. There have been a lot of moves that are going to make these teams a little bit more equal. And it's going to be hard for Philly to do repeat. Was it 3 times in a row?
It's very hard to do in the division. But
you guys did it again before. Was it 01 to 04? 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? Yeah, so that's happened before when you had the quarterback, you had the coach, you had all the players. It's going to be difficult because there's still some players out there, man. They really are.
Everybody's trying to check for the Eagles. That is a simple way to put it. I definitely agree with that.
I don't definitely disagree with the people being trash. I think in the NFL, you need to understand how important it is for a coach. A good coach can change a culture quickly. Health and coaches. So if you have good health along with a good coach, everything changes. Once again, the thing about Philadelphia is they didn't have great health last year. They had some issues. Their line is still a little suspect because it's a lot younger than it used to be. It used to be the best line in probably all of football. Now they have a few little things that they have to be shown to be. That's all you got. I mean, everyone else is going to be changing. So the Giants have changed. The Cowboys, they made some moves. I'm not so high on the Cowboys. I'm interested to see what the Commanders could be too. So,
yeah, well, good morning, Duarte. I am happy to see you, buddy.
Cowboys first round playoff exit. It's our year.
Maybe that's what their mantra is all about. Maybe their mantra is it's our year to go to the playoffs, go one and done.
I mean, it's been that way for as long as you've been alive.
Cowboys, huh?
As long as you've been alive, that's how it's been. Shoot, it's almost as long as I've been alive. That's how it's been. So.
The year I was born was the last time the Cowboys were relevant.
Relevance is, yeah. Tony Romo didn't help that. Cowboys first round exit this year. Yeah. Giants win 7 games this year. I have the Giants between 7 and 8 games. Do they win? Can they get to the 8? They could probably get to 8. I think it's going to be very tough in the division. When you look at what they did last year, even against you, they could have won a lot of these games. They were competitive, and their defensive line is going to make it difficult on a lot of different teams.
Yeah, that D line is really, to me, is the one great spot about them. But still, I don't know if I trust their O line.
100%. But Frank Maioga is going to help that. That's from your team. So I'm just saying they're going to bolster. They have helped it.
They've helped. I'm just concerned because when we see a mobile quarterback, especially if he wants to run the ball a lot, he has a high risk of getting hurt. We see it happen to every mobile quarterback. The more you get used like a running back, the more likely you are to get hurt.
The Commanders are still garbage with the franchise QB.
Yeah.
I'll say the Eagles defense is kind of taking a hit too. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Yes. The Eagles, we could all this could be a show where I just want to trash on the Eagles. But the truth is, when you look at roster for roster spot, guys.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that the Eagles have the best roster in the division.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles probably have the 3rd or 4th best roster in the entire conference. So it's hard for me to really poo-poo the Eagles at all. I can't. You know, they lost some pieces, but everything they've lost, it's been like they kind of replaced it. And if that offensive line is good and that defensive line comes to play,
this is true.
I don't know. All right. Let's go through some of the new draft picks and moves that kind of,
sure.
Division. Okay. So, of course, we'll start with the Commanders because Mark is not here, so I got to be the Commander fan for a second. Put my Commander hat on. They got Sonny Styles with the number 7 overall pick, which is a steal. It's literally a steal. The fact that they got with number 7 is crazy. That leadership is great. Does it change anything? Because the truth is, I mean, they had one of the best linebackers of all time before last season. So, like, though Sonny Styles is going to be a tackle machine, he's going to be great fantasy-wise. I'm not sure this is going to change their overall, what's going to happen there. Washington still really doesn't have a running back. Their O-line is better, and Jay Daniels stays healthy. They're going to be competitive in a lot of games because, once again, he's that type of X factor, that mobile quarterback who could throw and run and all those things. So what do you think about what Washington did?
I think that the Commanders, they made some good moves and pieces, but we said this last year. I think for them, their big issue is going to come down to, I think, how their coaching wants to do things, because they clearly had disagreements last year. I think having Sonny Styles helps a lot, but you need to protect your supposed franchise quarterback. If you continue,
don't say supposed. I mean, come on. You don't want us to talk about Jalen Hurts. That you don't want to talk about Jalen.
No. Hear me out. I love Jalen Daniels, and I do think he's a franchise quarterback. But when I say supposed, it's because there's been lots of talks from Commanders fans saying, because of how they treated him last year, was he's RG3 2.0, gets us all hyped up for a season or two, constantly gets hurt because the coaching staff is incompetent. That's what I've heard from Commanders fans. That's why
it sounds like hurt people. Hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. Well, these are the fans that are more passionate about that team than I am. So that's how they feel about the quarterback. I personally love Jalen Daniels. I did not think he was going to be the best fit in the world with the Commanders when he was first drafted, just because of his style of play versus how their style of play was. I feel like would conflict, especially with that O-line having issues. But I think if they're healthy, they can definitely be a team that I don't think that they'll make playoffs, but I think that they could definitely be a team that's somewhere in the middle, because that's kind of how I feel about their roster top down. And then when you look at their schedule, I mean, it's not an easy schedule. In week 1, they play the Eagles of all teams. So,
but they always play you guys tough. So I mean, I'm not.
They do.
Anytime you talk about in division games, I'm not worried about that. Especially if I get to prepare for you all summer, and I know what you are, I know what you don't have. The Eagles have to figure out how to play with this new offensive coordinator. If you're going to play a tough team, you want to play them early, because you guys don't know what you're doing either. So, like, that's kind of going hand in hand, and then you go with the most explosive player. Jay Daniels is that guy, who's the most explosive player. I still don't think they beat the Eagles, but they have a puncher's chance. So I'm not going to say like it's,
Yeah, and plus their running game, I'm not too sold on outside of Daniels.
Running game.
Which is why I'm scared for Daniels, because if he has to be the guy who runs the ball or is the leading rusher, let's say, that's concerning. Because again, if he gets hurt again, which I don't want to happen, because I really like the player. I mean, coming out of college, I said that in my rankings was I had him number 1 and Bo Nix number 2, Caleb 3, and Drake May 4. I believe that's what I said so long ago now. It was either that or 3 and 4 were switched. But the point is that if he has to run the ball a lot and risk injury again, I mean, he is that offense. Him and Scary Terry. Scary Terry has to stay healthy too. So
I think it's a little bit deeper. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I think Antonio Williams is going to help this roster overall, because I think he's the number 2 receiver. I think that's going to be good as a rookie. He will be able to help a lot of the stuff. I think Rachaad White being there in the backfield, they might not have a great running game, but they will have a good passing attack that's going to be able to attack defenses differently. I like their offensive line overall. I think that's fine. I love Laramie Tunsil putting in left tackle overall is top 4 left tackle in the entire NFL. So they have made moves that make sense for their team. And their team is going to be better as long as they stay healthy. But that's the big caveat. You have to stay healthy.
That's like the mantra for every team. We're great as long as we're healthy.
I don't know if they say we're great. They say we're good.
That's well, I guess it depends on the team, you know. If it's like, good. You know, the Seahawks, you know, we're great as long as we're healthy. You know?
I agree. Let's see what the comments say. You think with all the money that Washington D.C. and its politicians, you would think that they'll have a better product on the field for them. I don't know, man. I think Washington's a piece or two away. I think they're a piece or two away. And when I look at it, I don't think Bill could be your starting running back. I think Rachaad White helps, but he needs to be a piece to a dominant guy. Their wide receivers are just, if you think that that a throwaway piece for San Francisco is going to be able to help this team, you're sadly mistaken.
It sounds like they don't even want him now.
Why would I want that headache in my damn team, on my team?
So they don't really have much of a passing attack outside of, I would say, Chig and Terry.
Terry McLaurin is the third best wide receiver in the division. He's the third best. I put him over your best wide receiver.
You'd put him over Devontae?
I would. I'll take Terry McLaurin over Devontae Smith right now.
I will disagree, but not because I'm an Eagles fan, but because I look at the numbers and I think,
you don't want to go numbers.
Devontae Smith. Yeah, no, I do, because Devontae Smith is basically a Tyler Lockett who doesn't get hurt, because Tyler Lockett really never got hurt. Always performed better than, or for the most part, performed better than the alpha wide receiver on the actual team, which for Lockett was DK. And I mean, Devontae Smith had another competing wide receiver, but he always had over 1,000 yards receiving when he had another alpha wide receiver. So, I mean, now that he's the guy, he should be putting up 1,200 plus yards.
So you're going to go off of, you said off of numbers, right? So that's why this is where I'm disagreeing with you, because off of numbers, Terry McLaurin has, besides being hurt that first last season, because he was terribly hurt. He didn't play with Jaden Daniels at all this entire season. You literally he had almost 1,100 yards the year before. Then he had 1,000, then almost 1,200 yards, and then 1,000, and then 1,100 yards. And he came in his rookie year and had 900. So no, I don't agree with you. I think Terry McLaurin, being that guy, is a prototypical number one wide receiver, and he is probably, as I said, the third best wide receiver in this entire division. Terry McLaurin, when Jaden Daniels is ready, when he's healthy and he's throwing to him, it's the third best wide receiver. Don't tell me Devontae Smith, because he's the number two guy, but I think he can step into him and then talk about numbers. That doesn't work. You can say, hey, Devontae Smith is a Heisman Trophy winning guy. He's been probably the second or third, maybe first even, best second receiver in the game. Doesn't mean he steps into the number one and I'll automatically put him over Terry McLaurin. And I think if you have the Terry McLaurin, he would be a better.
But he also won the Buford Award, and he's also one of I think it's like a handful of wide receivers to ever win a championship in both college and in the Super Bowl. Just saying, this guy
means nothing for the number one wide receiver.
That means everything. That means that
it doesn't. It's college.
If you win the Buford Award, what does that mean? That means you were ranked the number one wide receiver.
At the numbers. I'm looking at the numbers, and he's better.
Bama. I mean, I'm not a Bama fan. All right, listen. I don't care about Bama. I think most of us don't want to care about Bama. You know, I'm a Hurricanes fan. I could care less. I'm glad that they're not doing good anymore.
Terry McLaurin is one of those guys who, and I don't think I don't want to tell you that he's the best number one wide receiver, but he's a real number one receiver. When your quarterback is healthy, he's healthy. He is that dude. Devontae Smith has to show that he's that number one wide receiver. So he has potential, and we could have a different conversation. Look, you're a fan, so that's one thing. I'm telling you from the outside, Terry McLaurin is the better wide receiver until you see it.
From a prospect of, he's always been considered a number one wide receiver, just the 1B on a team that had 2 ones. Come on now, man. I mean, plus, who are you going to take? The guy who's older, who's breaking down, or the guy who's younger?
How old do you think Terry McLaurin is?
Isn't he almost 30?
Almost 30. So you think
that's old? No,
there's
you know this.
literally
As a wide receiver, your
between
age.
them. There's 2 years between them.
Yeah. Again, so what? That makes Devontae Smith what? 26, 27? Still younger. Still matters. So when he goes and outperforms Terry
you
again,
say numbers and then say the opposite.
You play
so whatever. Yes,
yeah, we do.
Love fantasy football. Definitely,
we do. We love it.
And I'll talk about the fantasy aspect of this Division 2 later. Yeah. But yeah, let's get off of this one because you are delusional.
Well, you're delusional.
Terry is Ohio State wide receiver. Devontae is a crybaby who left Ohio State. No, Devontae Smith is a phenomenal wide receiver.
He's actually for a position that's known for drama queens and whatnot. He is the guy who is not drama ridden at all.
No, he's funny. A guy.
Yeah, he's just an amazing guy, amazing person.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. But it doesn't mean that Terry McLaurin is not an amazing guy. You know, so that's what's like when you're trying to put someone else up, you're like literally like you can't. I'm telling you, 1 compared to 1. You know, I would take him right now. And it's funny because I'm not saying Devontae Smith will be number 4. I'm not saying that at all. I say McLaurin 3 and Devontae Smith 4, and especially in that offense because
CD
the offense
what number 1 for you, and then
CD.
If you say George Pickens number 2, I'm gonna
fucking hate George Pickens, and he's
don't
right now.
He
had 1,400 yards and 90.
So he had 1 terrific season.
I hate him. Like literally, I really don't like him. So like I really don't like him. But right now I have to put him too. I mean, look, I really do. And, you know, and it's a team that don't run the ball. All they're going to do is throw the ball.
I know, of course.
Those going to be empty numbers, but they're still numbers. They're going to be empty as hell because I don't think it's going to come to wins. I think Philadelphia's going to win. I just don't think that it means Devontae Smith needs to be the number 1, that high of a wide receiver.
That's what they used to decide who's going to go anyway. So there is no biases. Stop it with that.
Okay. No, it is, but that's all right. I traded my first, second, third last year, but I have Josh Allen, A.J. Brown, Rashee Rice, Kenneth Walker, Bucky Irvin, and George Kittle as my keepers. Okay. Now, the question is, do you keep Breece Hall or Bucky Irving?
Damn. I know I loved Breece Hall, but I guess I'll keep Bucky. Because unfortunately, all the reports say that they want to use all 3 running backs and they want to split the committee, which hurts you in fantasy football. So I'm sorry. As much as I think Breece Hall should be the main bell cow who gets like 70% of the workload, they don't want to use him like that. They have said this year, no, we like all 3 running backs. We want to use all 3 in a split carry and try to do it as evenly as possible, with Breece being obviously RB1. So that's what worries me. Who's Bucky's competition? It's Gainwell, who's really just known for catching the ball and doing returns. And you have Sean Tucker, who also does returns. So I think Bucky's a safer pick.
Breece Hall is a better running back. Bucky Irving is a better pick for this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. But understand this: Breece Hall could be traded, and if he gets traded, you might be kicking yourself because if you go to the right place, the right team, you would definitely be kicking yourself. But you can't
sign him to that contract.
Yeah, you can still. It don't matter. There's not no trade in there because especially if that team starts off with 0-7, with someone starting. Can you see Breece Hall going to Dallas? Can you see Breece Hall? Dallas stepping up and paying for that. But they'll have to take a hit because if you sign this, if you trade for someone who has that, you're going to be paying $17 million for the guy. So, yeah.
Anyways,
as he says, you can't be a drama queen being number 2. That's not
true. That's not true.
We just said George Pickens.
Yeah, bro. Like, tell me y'all don't watch football. That's something y'all don't watch football. Wide receivers, it's doesn't matter. You could be wide receiver 3 all the way to 1. Doesn't matter. You can be a drama queen. You can be a headache.
You can, but you usually not on that team long. If you are that number 2 guy and you're trying to be a drama queen, you're usually not on that team long. That's how it is because you're not good enough or special enough for me to hold on to you. So I think that's kind of how it goes. But I understand where we're going. Let's go to the next team. Let's go to the New York Giants. All right.
Sure.
They really got a versatile linebacker edge, who I think is a better edge, but they're putting him at linebacker with Arvell Reese. So in your fantasy, drafts, you grab an Arvell Reese, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Is he going to be a sack guy? Is he going to be a tackle guy? But they have 4 great defensive ends, I guess. This is what they're doing. They say, we're just going to collect them all like we're Thanos. We're just going to collect all of them and see what happens. They also added Malachi Lawrence, number 23. No, I'm sorry. They got Frank Mayoga. I'm sorry. They got Frank. Malachi went to Dallas. But Francis will help solidify that offensive line that they have never really poured into. We've always been talking about the Giants. The joke with the Giants was, it doesn't matter how good they are, how much talent they have. They'll never be up there because they can't give the quarterback any time. The problem with the Giants also kind of goes into, how's the team going to kind of come together with a new coaching staff? Because you have John Harbaugh coming in. How is he going to kind of mesh with them? New regimes kind of take time a lot sometimes, especially when you have a team that has already kind of identified their identity. And I'm not sure how quickly they can actually convert this potential into wins. That's just my thoughts. What do you think about the Giants?
All right. I think the Giants are closer than the Commanders at making an actual playoff push, and I don't think it's even close. I really don't. I think that the Giants, their biggest issues have really been the culture is bad. It's really bad. They like to keep people in charge that make bad decisions. I think that they did the proper head coach hiring, which I love to see. I really do. Using Reese as a linebacker, he's going to have to be a blitzing linebacker. I mean, his talent is so good on that edge. And if you really don't want to trade anybody away because you're too stubborn for whatever reason, then you got to use him as a blitzing linebacker. I have, and I said this to a few of my friends, I think the Giants, middle of the team, sure, that can win 6, 7, maybe at most 8 games. I think that they're at least 1 year away, one good draft and good free agency away, with the new culture being there with Harbaugh, to be a playoff team. Doesn't mean that I think they'll be good, but Cam Scatterboot is a force to be reckoned with, obviously, when he's healthy. And as long as Jackson Dart doesn't have to be a hero and get hurt, they'll be fine there. And they've got Neighbors who's coming back off injury. Granted, we probably won't see him until week 5, so keep that in mind with your fantasy rosters. Probably won't come back till then. They can always draft better on the offense like they should, because I feel like their defense, secondary-wise, I like it. I like their line. Obviously, everyone likes their line. I think that they made the right moves on defense. So this team has the opportunity to be good, but I think they're 1 year away.
Okay. I disagree with the first thing you said. You said that they're closer than Washington this season. Overall, I think they're in a better position than Washington is. I trust their coach more. I think they have some young guys. I don't believe in Jackson Dart. I think when those guys like that, they're running around and pretending like, oh, he's changed the game and all this stuff. I believe Jackson Dart's going to get injured, and he's going to get injured quickly if he doesn't change his style. And I don't think he's Josh Allen. I think he thinks he's Josh Allen, and I don't think he's Josh Allen. That's where if he is Josh Allen, everything I said is wrong. 100%. I'm not going to. I don't believe that's what he is. I think.
Who would think that he's Josh Allen?
He believes he's Josh Allen.
Did he say that?
The way he's played, the way he does, the way he even talks about how stuff. He believes he has. I think he has incredible arm talent too. I think you need a coach that's going to harness him. And if you get the coach that can harness his talent, and because I always thought he needed a year before he was going to be great. When they drafted him, I was like, man, if he could sit for a year and see how the game goes and learn how to read, then he's going to be special. I wonder if him starting stunts the growth a little bit. And this is just all speculation because I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work with him. But I think he's going to get sacked a lot more because of what's going on. I don't believe you can depend on Cam Scatterboot. I think what was great about him And I think we all talked about this 2 years ago in the draft, that he is someone who's going to be a surprise to everybody. You're going to get in there, you're not going to realize how tough he is, how strong he is, how all those things. Coming off an injury for a running back, the type of injury he's had, it takes a year to really have confidence in that. And I don't believe Tyrone Tracy is the guy that I'll be comfortable with being the backup. I just think all the things align that they're set up for the future better. I don't think they'll be better this season. If that, I don't think it's like this huge thing. I think that Washington has a chance of winning 8 games. I think Giants have a chance of bringing like 7 games. They're very similar. So that's why you said that by a wide margin. If you told me that the Giants, you have half a game more than them, I would be like, yeah, maybe.
I just want to clarify that I'm talking about being able to be a playoff team. I don't think the Commanders are even 1 year away from being a playoff team. That's why
you're saying long term.
I'm saying long term that
I agree with you long term. Yeah, I agree 100%. Long term, I don't. I think this year the Giants are still the 4th in the division, winning 7 games. And Washington maybe wins 8 games, or maybe they're 7-10 and 7-9-1. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's half a game, but I think that Washington has a chance because I think Jaden Daniels is further along on his progression than Jackson Dart is, and I don't believe both are running backs. Even though I just talked about Terry McLaurin being great, I love. I have the 5th. I'm gonna say this: my 5th best wide receiver in the division. I still have Malik Neighbors. And is that wrong to do because his injury could be a problem?
It's not. You're not wrong. I mean, if we just sit here and talk about talent and all this other stuff, then we can just be sitting here all day about who's the ideal best at this position, that position. And we look at consistency. I think that matters more, and a bunch of other things. But no,
he had 109 receptions and 1,200 yards, which is more than any other person that we were talking about, not named George Pickens. Of course.
Until he's healthy and we see what he does when he's healthy, I do agree. Talent-wise, I put him up there as like number 2, if not number 1. I do, just because I think in the situation,
he's not CD Lamb.
But like,
if you say number 2, you could argue number 2. I think you could argue number 2 because CD Lamb has some things part of him that are special.
No, again, CD Lamb is great. I'm looking at it from a fantasy perspective as well, where I'm looking at it as, okay, if the only competition Neighbors has really is likely and a bunch of other wide receivers that are there that really won't eat up much targets versus now that Pickens is there with CD Lamb, it means that now they have to compete with that. And they do love to pass the ball a lot. But it seems to be that they like to pass the ball to the tight end a decent amount. They love to pass to Pickens a good amount, and then CD Lamb as well. So to me, when you have a bunch of mouths to feed versus a team that doesn't really have that many mouths, I tend to lean more towards the one guy who has the same, I think, talent-wise as CD Lamb, but he's also in a better position. But the issue is that he's hurt right now. But I do agree with you that if we're going off of numbers and whatnot, CD Lamb has to be the number 1 wide receiver. I don't think it's really close. I liked George Pickens coming out of college. I thought Dallas was a good fit for him. I did not expect 1,400 yards. I don't expect him to do that again. I really don't.
CD Lamb was hurt those games, and even when he did play, he still was hurt. So like CD Lamb played 13 games, 14 games, maybe like that. So he's out at least 4 games. I think that's what George Pickens got a lot of it. And then people have to double team CD Lamb, right? He's he's 27. He's has a good rapport. So I think you had to double team. I think now you go into Dallas, and if you have balanced coverage, George Pickens is going to drop the easy passes. I'm telling you, he's going to drop. This dude is not going to be. I have to have him ranked high. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him.
So then why rank him so high then? If you don't think that
you can't not have 1,400 yards. 1,400 yards shows that the talent's there, and that possibly could be, even though you don't like someone. Because I have to also put in my own biases. Because you have bias, then you don't worry about the numbers. You don't worry about your bias. You look at the numbers and say, okay, he has this potential to do this. And if it's 500 yards more than who you think the number 3 guy is, he got to be number 2.
See, I don't let recency get to me too much. I look at consistency. I think
They're all
consistency
young.
will tell me that I don't think George Pickens is going to repeat what he did. Only way he does is if once again if CD Lamb is hurt. I just don't. I just don't see it.
The thing was, I thought that CD Lamb missed 4 games. Is only 3 games. So if it's only 3 games, George Pickens still did incredible. He still had those 9 touchdowns. All those things and he's explosive.
We also have to take into account whether CD Lamb was fully healthy or not, because
he was not. He was not for like those three of those games. He was not. He was not
so
option.
It's I saw someone make an argument completely different, but for like Emeka Mbuka, and they said, well, he's better than Ted McMillan, and they brought up reasons, and one of the reasons was, well, look at the quarterback was hurt most of the year, but he still put up damn near 1,000+ yards, so he clearly can be better than Ted, who's in a worse situation. Blah blah blah. It's kind of it feels somewhat similar to that, where if someone gets hurt and they're still hurt throughout the whole season, as long as it's not Dak, then yeah, he'll be fine. We still don't know what we're going to get out of Dak this season, healthy or not.
Well, since we talk about the Cowboys, let's just talk about them.
Sure.
They brought in probably the best player in the draft, the best overall talent. If all positions were all equal, the best player in the draft was Caleb Downs. If all things equal, he is unbelievably talented, and they got him at 11. That's a great steal. And then I said Malachi Lawrence kind of helps a lot with it. They lost last year. I think Dallas has pieces. Are you convinced that team has the coaching and the wherewithal to put it all together, or they're just the same thing, a middling team that keeps on having an option, ways to get high, that has a lot of talent, that's going to put up big numbers and lose?
Well, for starters, I don't think their defense is going to be nearly as bad. People loved, again, look at last year and think, oh, well, this team's going to look bad. My Eagles at one point had a really terrible defense. The next year they ranked number 1. Okay, so things can drastically change. So if that defense is right where I think it should be, which is somewhere right in the middle, anywhere from 14 to 17, somewhere in there is where my projections have them. I think that's a lot better. And if their offense can stay top 5, that's a playoff team. I mean, by definition, statistically, they'd have a high chance of being a playoff team if those projections are true. Problem is that I don't really trust their head coach very much. I think that the culture is always about the big, bright lights in Dallas. And it's also Dak we're talking about here. Regular season, one of the best quarterbacks.
Still get you to the playoffs, man.
Who can get you to the playoffs. All right. Doesn't matter how old he's been getting, doesn't matter about injury, this and that. He is literally the definition of if there was a regular season goated MVP type of caliber guy, he would be up there every year as one of the main 3.
Do you think that's Dak? Do you think this is a Dak problem? I think it's a Dallas problem.
Well, considering how
same thing as was Tony Romo. Romo was the same answer. Dak hasn't. It's the way they're building their team. I don't think it's Dak at all.
I think what their actual issue is, obviously, it is Jerry Jones. We all know that, but I think the deeper part of it is their philosophy is we will pay our quarterback big money, 2 to 3 star players big money on offense, and then we'll typically pay 1, maybe 2 on defense big money. They eat up like over 50% of their whole cap on like 4 or 5 players.
Usually 5 players, yeah.
And you shouldn't do that. In fact, my personal belief for a team to be a Super Bowl team, coming from a team that has a terrific GM, I do believe that you should have, obviously, your quarterback paid and at least 1 star offensive player and then a left tackle, because left tackles are very, very important in this league. If you don't have a really good left tackle, that sucks. And then your 2 key defensive positions, whether they are on the line or a corner. Those are the quote-unquote big 5 that you should spend on. Not majority of it be all on offense. Because then when time comes and you don't do well, every year is a failure from them. And that's what we've seen since the Tony Romo era. They've been constantly doing this recycle, repeat. We have the start. We have Dez, Throw up the X-Dez. We have Romo. We have was it Witten, right? That was time back there, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have all these guys. Really great.
He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. So
correct. Oh yeah, no, I love Witten. Hall of Famer guy. But when you pay big money to a select number of people and not spread it around, draft well, and then you hit the key positions. Like I said, the line, both offense and defense, your quarterback and at least one star player on offense, and then a star player on defense. That's how you should do it, because that changes the whole game, I think. And Dallas just has not gotten that.
I think that this is as close as Dallas has been in a while. Losing Micah Parsons devastated that team. Doing it right before the season was the most asinine thing I've ever seen ever. Like literally. But they knew if you're making that trade, you're taking a step back for 2 years. Mm-hmm. I think this is the first chance that they take a step forward. I think their defense, you said 14-17. I think they could be a top 10 defense. I think Caleb Downs is that good, especially with Malachi Lawrence on that defense, what they already have. Because you know what, the middle of their defense is actually pretty good. They had the talent. It just was, could they put it all together? My question more about Dallas is if their offensive moves, because all the things you just said about the offense is 100% right? Will their offense destroy their team? Will there's only one ball out there? Will their offense destroy their team? They don't have to run the ball that much. Javonte Williams had a great year last year. Sure. Malik Davis being back behind, all that stuff is good. They have good, decent running backs, whatever. They're going to be fine. They don't need the ball. They're not going to complain about not getting the ball either. Is the ball only being one ball out there going to destroy their team? Will they have to say in the middle of the season, go home, George Pickens? You're Brandon Ayuk.
So they didn't pay him. They only gave him a franchise tag, right?
Franchise tag. Pickens. They gave him something.
So let's look at this long term for that kind of question, because that's the only way to really look at this. Could they do something potentially the playoffs this year? Yes. But then guess what? You have to then pay your guys. And then if you're paying George Pickens, how much does he want? Because let's say
pay George Pickens. You just don't. You don't. Unless you wait for a trade to get somebody. You hope someone wants to get rid of their running back and you trade George Pickens to the Jets.
But that's just again, it's Dallas. If let's say George Pickens has a year, which will still be a great year. Let's say he doesn't have 14 yards. Let's say he has 1,210 touchdowns. That's still a great year.
He can do that.
No. That's very possible with a pass heavy team like this. Mm-hmm. But again, Dallas loves to pay those big names. So if they pay him, imagine what that will do for the rest of the roster. Mm-hmm. Now, this is something that you could easily clip, but let's look at Dak for a second. I know we talked high about Dak, but maybe Dak is also the issue. And I'm going to say this point blank. Look at his record against the NFC East. Phenomenal. Look at his record against teams that are above 500. It's horrible. So that tells me that when he plays outside of the Eagles, because obviously it's a division game, when he plays real teams that are not 500 and below, that are playoff contenders, he has a losing record both in regular season and in the playoffs. Maybe Dak is also really not that good. Maybe he's just a stat patter like Romo.
I don't think he is, but I'm not going to go crazy on what you just said. Because once again, if I can't be on the numbers on one end, right? And now on the numbers on the other. Doesn't matter what my personal feelings are about Dak Prescott, because I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to have a chance to go over 5,000 yards this year. I think he's going to have maybe 35 touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions. I think he's going to have a completion percentage around 70%. All those things could all be true. Mm-hmm. And still not disagree with what you just said. So, as much as I feel that he is all these things good, I think the problem is that he never had a coach that's going to make him, be this, because you can't get strong personalities in Dallas because Jerry won't allow it.
Yeah.
I think I always think, go back to the coach. I think it's the coaching. I don't believe it's the player.
Hey, Martin.
Martin says, are you spending any draft picks for Pickens? I think he's player for player. Yeah. I think Pickens is player for player. And I think this is a very good question. You can look at this in two different ways. You can look at fantasy wise, hell yeah, definitely. As a team, I'm looking at George Pickens and say, you got to go to a team that doesn't look at that, doesn't care about culture. And the perfect team that doesn't care about culture because they like to play Madden is the Jets. That's the perfect place to go. I have a lot of Jets guys that I don't want George Pickens anywhere near there. But if you think you have good running backs behind him, you just paid him, and you want another guy, another high priced guy. It makes sense. I don't like it.
I think if it's dynasty purposes, as high as a first round pick that you could trade him for in dynasty, because he is very young, and I do care about my wide receivers. Typically at the max age 29, there are exceptions to that rule, like Mike Evans and a few others, that just how they take care of themselves. But generally speaking, wide receiver anywhere from the ages of 21 and then between the ages of 23 to 25, that's when they usually break out big. And then all the way up until about 28, 29 is usually where the cutoff hits. And since he's 25, he's right in that sweet spot. So I think he's easily worth at least one first round pick and a player on top of that to get him. And if the Cowboys do re-sign him dynasty wise, then you're sitting pretty at a guy who should get you at the very minimum, unless he's hurt, 1,000 yards, but he should get you closer to like 1,100, 1,200 consistently. Yeah. So I think
get you 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns usually.
Yeah, it's possible. Again, all depends on the situation, obviously, because he wasn't doing all that in the Steelers
because no one could throw the ball.
Yeah. Well, Steelers fans didn't want him because he was a headache, but I understand why.
Hey, you guys breed headaches. Come on, AB.
Yeah. But anyway, so Dak will always produce for what his ADP. I'll take him late, stack my team up, and still expect him to be there later on rounds. I don't give a fuck. He's good for fantasy.
He is. No, and everything that if your drafts, especially if we're talking about redraft stuff, if your draft strategy is get all the best talent, and then in 10th round, I'm going to grab Dak Prescott because no one likes him, you're probably going to win your league.
I don't think I think in current drafts, I've seen him go as early as round 5 or as late as round 7. I don't see him going anywhere near the double digits anymore. 2 years ago, that was closer to true just because of the whole injury thing. People were like, I don't know what he's going to do. But we know what Dak is. So you could stack him with George Pickens or CD. If you want to stack him with all three, that'd be hilarious. Triple crown it, That'd be fun. That'd be fun risk to take. Why not?
So Dak Prescott right now, he is right now a QB between 8 and 9. He is valued as between a 7th and 9th round pick. This is just overall average.
7th round pick is overall average. Okay, that's fine.
That's 12 team.
I see him.
That's a 12 team.
Mm-hmm. And then in super flex, that's probably going to be down a couple of rounds. So 2 or 3. So it'll probably
no super flex. You're going to get them in the 3rd or 4th round early.
Yeah,
you have to.
Maybe not in our league.
You need that. You could do that. Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. Like what we said it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So Pickens is 25. He's young. Yes, he is. Mm-hmm. But does he have all the trademarks of being a diva wide receiver that you're gonna have problems with? And he did coming out of college. You had that problem.
But at least he's got the talent to back it up. That's the thing. You have to have the talent.
So Antonio Brown did too.
Yeah, but Antonio Brown also dug his own grave when he gave up on each team that gave him a chance. That was his doing.
Yeah, he was crazy. Will they really pay him more than CD? No,
they shouldn't. No, and if they did, I'm pretty sure when CD's contract comes up, he'll be like, well, you did this, so I want to be paid as the number 1 overall wide receiver in the league.
I mean, Dallas technically could do what they did, what Cincinnati did, right? That's the blueprint for what they want, right? I think I like what Cincinnati. I like their players better, and they complement each other better. But you can do what Cincinnati did. But you're not going to win. You're going to do exactly the same thing Cincinnati. You're not going to be able to win.
I mean, I get the comparison, but man, that's just a bad team too.
Hey,
well,
think about quarterback, yo.
2 wide receivers.
Yeah,
I know. I
terrible defense, not play your main defensive player, him walking. It's
so far they're looking good on that trade so far, just because of the injury and who they got so far in the draft.
I think they lost seasons. They lost us for 2 years. They're going and lost when they could have had a chance to be an NFC champion. Here's the question now, because I can't believe in Dallas as long as this. Can Dallas beat Philadelphia?
Yeah, they can split them because that's what they always do. They always split them at least once.
Can they win the division
this year? That's tough. You can't stay on top forever. I think it's only possible through a very particular route, which is the Eagles collapse because let's say they have a diva that rises to the occasion, and a bunch of players are constantly getting hurt, so no one's healthy throughout the whole season, whether it's the defense or the offense. I think they need a lot of things to happen to Philadelphia in order for them to say, this year we're going to win 12 games and we're going to take the division. Because I think if you're going to take the division from Philly, you're going to have to win at least 12 games.
I put Philadelphia at 11 games, yeah. So, but they're high. They could be as high as 13, but as low as 11. They could be 10 if they totally fall apart. But I think that Saquon's going to have a bounce back year. So we'll get into Philadelphia in a second. Sure. I would probably rate Dallas's chances at 30%. They have a 30% chance.
Duarte, I agree with you, not because of the Eagles fan, but because I also agree with what Brian's saying here. But again, these things do happen.
30% chance is still like 1 in 3 out of every 10 times they will come up and do something. Like
it's almost a third. Like
but I put almost the other 2/3, 60% still goes to Philly. Like they have double the chance.
I'm very critical about each of these teams. So, and I don't like to sugarcoat them. I do think Cowboys have the best shot too, and I see them as they have to win 12. But realistically, I think 9 to 10 wins, given that schedule. We have to keep around that schedule. I think 9 to 10, potentially a 7th seed, dark horse to make the playoffs.
It's going to be very difficult with the talent. The problem with Dallas, I think, is that the NFC North are not going to have a team that doesn't win 8 games. Like every team in that division is going to win at least 8 games. The NFC West is going to have 3 teams that are going to win probably 10 games. So like there's not enough room there.
I don't think that the 49ers will. I think that this
I think the 49ers are better than Cowboys.
I think they won't be due to health. It's just the way the 49ers have always been. I hate to use the health excuse, but come on. They need to move that stadium and shit. Like, come on.
But you can't. You talk about consistency. You can't say what you just said and not say that the 49ers have a chance of winning 10 games. You can't just say how much consistency you just talked about. Just say, and not say
I know.
3 teams have the coach to do it.
They have the coach to do it, but to
they have the coach. They have a good defensive player. Everything you just said. Left tackle, the best left tackle of the game. Running back, they have the running back. They have the quarterback.
But if you sit here and tell me that CMC at the age of 30, 31 is going to be healthy given his history, he always has.
They'll sacrifice 5 guys.
It's not going to happen again. No,
you can do it every year. I'm just saying. Once again, you look at San Francisco has done it time after time after time. We're going to make it somehow. Somehow something's going to happen, and they're going to make it. We already know how good LA is. We already know how good Seattle is. That division, I love my NFC North. our NFC North is the best, most competitive division. The best division is NFC West. That's not even, no doubt in my mind. That's the best division.
Sir. Excuse you.
NFC East is third.
Just barely above the South. Best division in all of football, and that's just from a historical standpoint.
No, historically, the NFC North, because they got the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. So history was
in the Super Bowl era.
It's still the Green Bay.
No. It's the NFC East, because we're the only division in all of football that has all 4 teams that have won a Super Bowl, and especially multiple. They only won.
Doesn't mean all 4 teams, but it's about how good that division has been for consistency for 20 years.
Trust me. I know what you're saying, and I do agree with you. Like, modern NFL
history,
but history of the Super Bowl era.
It's not even a Super Bowl era. It'd be like the history of like the 2000s.
No. It has to be of the Super Bowl era, because that's the only way to say the NFC East. I mean, there are some good teams there. But anyways, we talked so much about the Cowboys.
They're not that 100%. But let's talk about Philadelphia. I can't believe.
Go Birds, dickheads. It's time. It's my time now.
Dickhead.
But I think it's only fair that Brian starts.
You guys.
It's only fair.
I'll just mute you. You can unmute himself, though.
Exactly.
It's not a secret. Whatever. Philadelphia traded up to get Mekhi Lemon. I thought Mekhi Lemon might have been one of the best wide receivers in the entire draft, and be able to trade up to 20 and grab him was a phenomenal move. Again, Eli Stowers in the second round. I think he's going to be a really good tight end, and give me a year or 2, year and a half. They still have one of the most talented running backs, period. They're changing offensive coordinators. They still have. I mean, I talked about Devontae Smith to say he's not the third best wide receiver in the division, but he's 4th, and he's close, and he's consistent, and you like him, and all those things are all true. They have consistently had the best roster, period, in the division. It's not even like close at all. I love Hurts. He's my starting quarterback in the 2 of my teams. I love him. I'm also, but I'm not.
He's a winner.
I'm not blinded by the problems that are there. Philadelphia still has issues. What's going on with their offense? Can they find an offense that actually matches with them? How are they going to utilize the wide receivers? Can the Tavion Wicks really be that good number 2? Is that going to really elevate him? Is Mekhi Lemon going to be ready to step into that number 2 immediately? How is it going to work with Dallas Goedert? Is Dallas Goedert going to be able to stay healthy? Or is Stowers going to have to step in before he's ready? Is that offensive line going to jail? There are question marks around Philadelphia. Their question marks are small question marks instead of the big question marks we have in the rest of the division. That's why when you look at them, I can't poo-poo this team. Jalen Carter is amazing. I'm just gonna play it flat out. He's amazing. And you go Jordan Davis you can put both of them on the field at the same time now. They put them at one at nose, one at end, because they put in that 3-4. Nolan Smith being there. You have so many guys that it works. I like the team. I think they have a 66% chance of winning the division. So it's like 66, 30 for Dallas, and then the other 2 can split the 4.
split the remainder. Only way that those two teams are winning is if both teams just fly to Cancun
and then their planes hit each other.
Yeah, exactly. No. Oh, that's funny. Awesome. Anything else that you want to say?
I'm going to run through what Marlon says, and then we're going to give the floor to you because you deserve it for your team. Technically, NFC West is the best, and we're saying it early week 2 last season. Sure enough, Seattle won. I agree, they're the best. The Eagles' offense 85%. Barkley. That's the problem. Offensive coordinator has to get better. I think that something will go wrong in Philly. One injury, and they are cooked. Carter is not that guy, though. Ooh, okay. He's good, but he's not amazing. He has a DL2 at best IDP.
Okay, so you're talking purely for fantasy purposes, which I would agree. Most people listed as a D tackle aren't going to be amazing for fantasy football purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you play in a league that's specific for that, you need to have DTs. Which, if that's the case, then sure, then he's still pretty solid. But yeah,
I mean,
but as an actual
3-4,
player,
he's really a 3-4 defensive end.
Yeah, but
he's more of
they
a
don't
5
have
technique
him
than he
listed
is
at
at
that.
3.
But he could. That's the thing. He has such versatility. You could. So
they're going to run him that way. I think he's going to line up more at right on the note, right on the head of the tackle.
Real life Carter, because you have Jordan Davis signed in there, is an absolute problem, and one of the best D tackles are currently playing, because that whole situation is great. Because right, if you have both of them there, who are you going to double team? Because Jordan Davis is big and he's fast now, and Carter's got that it factor. We've seen it, so it's really hard to stop their D tackles. But anyways, I will, I guess, start my thing.
This is the one thing I will say when Anthony said, your left side of your line, I'm specifically your offensive line, worries me. It does.
You're worried about Lane Johnson?
Or Jordan
Mailata.
Mailata.
Yeah, that should be. I have no issues with
Lane Johnson's a right tackle. So
you're right. I have no issues with Jordan Mailata, considering that the guy was like a 7th round nobody pick that they threw out, and now he's considered like one of the best. It's great.
He's considered one of the best left tackles.
Yeah, in the NFC, not in the whole NFL, but in the NFC. Okay. Especially when you look at the draft value that you got him in, he does fantastic for an Australian, rugby player. Man, you did your work. Anyways, so everything that Brian said is true. It's hard to poop on the Eagles because they have the best GM in all of football. Literally, he can build you a super team, and no one wants to trade with Howie, and that's a good thing. In the business world, when people call you nicknames and they say, "Oh, don't do business with this guy," that means that you're doing something right. Because if anyone's talking about you, it means that they know that you always play chess, not checkers. In fact, I love the way that both them and the Rams do things, because they're not afraid to take shots. Neither team is scared to build a roster, throw things at players, and see what happens. They're not afraid. And then that's why it comes down to culture. And culture is everything in Philadelphia. This is what they believe in. They have the next man up mentality. That is why, according to ESPN, they are ranked as the 2nd best overall roster in the entire NFL. According to ESPN, number 1 being the Rams. Am I surprised? No. I don't think anyone is. So with that, having the 2nd best roster in the NFL, I think that in every position, they plug their holes with their mistakes. Do I think that they have weaknesses? Of course.
Their weaknesses are depth.
I think
depth, not actual players. I think it's
my concern. So even though I will talk up Jalen Hurts because he's my guy and I love him, I think he's a winner and stats don't matter. But I do think
stats matter a little bit.
They not to him at least. Him personally, he does not care. He's like, as long as I win, I don't care. But to Jalen Hurts, the only thing that I do worry about, it's not the deep ball, because he's been proven consistently to have the best deep ball. And, it's crazy to me because he leads in categories such as, most touchdowns thrown for 20-plus yards since, I think it's 2022. He's 2nd in most air yards behind Josh Allen. I mean, so deep ball-wise, I'm not worried about a guy who has proven to take multiple wide receivers and they all have over 1,000 yards, in some cases 1,400 yards. I'm not worried about deep ball. I'm more worried about the intermediate and short and throwing over the middle, more so the middle, because he does rank horribly in throwing over the middle. Yes, he's efficient. Yeah. He's efficient throwing over the middle, but the counterpart is he doesn't throw over the middle very much. But when he does, yes, it's efficient. I get it. That's what the stats say. But for him, what is he going to look like without A.J. Brown there? Because you touched on that. Is Lemon going to be that guy? I feel like he has to be that guy. Dallas Goedert, I don't foresee him having as many touchdowns. I always think as a tight end who gets, 9, 10 touchdowns is always an anomaly unless he is the only thing on that offense. When you're talking about an offense that's Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, Lemon, you've got Wicks, you've got Tank also back there. And I love Tank. I think Tank is interesting. Yeah, I truly think that because depth-wise, this team is formidable. And the only thing that separates them from like the top-rated team, the Rams, is just the way that we do things in crucial situations compared to the Rams. I think the Rams shored up their weaknesses, which is why I'll be curious to see what they do. But I think both the Rams and the Eagles, based off their rosters and their schedule, they should both be up there winning anywhere from on the low end 12 to the high end 14 games. I feel like both those teams should, because they both got the best rosters in football and their schedules. I mean, Eagles are one of the few teams in the NFL that play better against playoff teams and teams that are above 500. They're one of the best to do it. And it comes down to leadership. It comes down to culture. And that's, I think, what separates them. So all in all, the defense, still top 3. It's still top 3 defense. You're talking about a defense that has Mitchell, who last year PFF rated him as second, if not the number 1 when it comes to coverage per snaps. He gave up the least amount of touchdowns per snaps his entire career so far. You're talking about also Cooper DeJean, who I believe is going to play safety this year. Again, he can play in the box. He can play as a nickel corner. We've seen that he's also an exceptional corner and one of, obviously, the best quote-unquote white cornerback. There's not many of those out there. But defensively, and then you got, what's his name? Woodland, right? Or what's his name from Seattle? The name's escaping.
Wooden?
Yeah,
Woolen?
Yeah, Woolen. Thank you. Who actually, despite my knock on him is that he caused too many penalties. That's my biggest knock on him. But as a physical corner, he's exceptional. When you put him up with Vic Fangio as the DC, and that's what it comes down to. They have Vic Fangio as DC, so you know that defense by default, with all that talent there, has to be someone in the top 3. Even when the offense was deplorable, because Kevin Patullo last year, that defense kept them in games pretty much almost every single time. So now when you have a better OC and they're playing more under center, which they need to, this offense is going to go from one of the bottom thirds to has to be, if the Eagles want to go back to the Super Bowl, I want to see that offense be like how it was in 2024. I want to see them be like a top, 10, anywhere from 7 to 10 ranked offense, because they have the talent to do it. And if they can do it, you're talking about a top 3 defense. That is a Super Bowl caliber team, just like the Rams. Those two teams have I truly believe, because of their rosters and their culture, have the best chance at going back to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. And they both have a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Eagles have Super Bowl MVP quarterback, a runner-up for MVP. I believe it was 22 or 24. I think it was 22. No, because 24 was the year that Barkley had over 2,000 yards total. So all in all, there's nothing bad you can really harp on the Eagles, except for I do think health is their biggest concern. Even with a great depth, if you are constantly getting hurt at the positions that matter, which are like the O-line, it's going to be hard. I don't care who's quarterback back there. If you have a banged-up O-line and you're constantly getting pressured, I mean, it's true. Statistics prove this. Sacks are not just a determination on whether or not an offense is good. It's more of the pressures and QB hits, because those are what create more mistakes for a quarterback. He's feeling pressure, throws the ball too early, picked off. He gets hit, fumble, or throws a pick. Those are more likely to happen than versus getting sacked, 2 or 3 times. Herbert is one of the best at showcasing that talent, can sometimes override that because he's had historically a horrible offensive line. But with the Eagles, if that O-line can stay healthy, then they'll be just fine. I would tell Eagles fans to relax.
We give you enough time. All right. So let me counter some of the things you said, because they're not top 3 defense. They're not top 3 defense. Going to the next year, they're not going to be top 3. I'm going to tell you that Texans are going to be better than them. The Broncos are going to be better than them. The Seahawks are going to be better than them. The Rams are going to be better than them. I'll put the Patriots over them, and then I'll put the Eagles at 6. So like,
we're
and which is
recency
fine.
bias control that. Okay.
No, I'm wanting to say when I look at your team, because we're looking at rosters, I'm going to say Texans are way better than you, and that's not even a question. The Rams are going to be having the best defensive end coming to a team that was already top 6 is going to put them in front of you. Yes. The Broncos had an unbelievable defense, which is an all-time great defense. Yes. The Patriots had an all-time great, but took them to the Super Bowl. Yes, they're going to be in front of you. Yes. I'm not going to put the Steelers in front of you, but the Steelers, we can argue the Steelers that you're not even the best defense in your own state. So like, they're going to be good. You're just hyping it to a point. Because we just let you talk for like 8 minutes. That's all. Everyone left. But it's good, but it's not the greatest. And that's why I want to say that that's where the opportunity.
So top 6 is not considered elite to you?
No, I think it is. No, I didn't say it elite. I said it's not 3. What I just said is, if you look, we can rewind and say, hey, right, they're not the number 3 best team defense in the league. I said they're not. There's other teams that are going to be it. So there's competition there, and there's going to be room there, and there's going to be room on offense, because you can't say we're ranked this and then say, but our offense, when we change offense coordinator, is going to be this. There's going to be a lot of leeway in there. We don't know. I think the Eagles, once again, should win the division. The Eagles will be very talented. The Eagles have to prove themselves just like every other team. Health is going to matter, but health matters to every team. But they were shown to be anemic on offense, and which is really weird because you have great pieces. You got to see an offensive coordinator that's going to be. Well, it doesn't matter. You have to show that you can change it. So if you already know you can be there, that they could be there again. So you have to see what we're really going to get. I look at this division, and the way Dallas wins is if the Eagles' offensive coordinator cannot balance it out. They cannot. They look at it and they cannot balance it out. And Jalen Hurts misses throws over the middle. That's the only thing you can do. And it takes a special team, because to do that takes a very talented team. You have to be really good on the edges, on the outsides, right? You have to be super talented at safety to be disciplined enough to be able to do all these things. You have to have a linebacker that's going to be able to stop the run, and a defensive line that's going to be able to rally to the ball carrier. So it takes special teams. And when you say that, that means Philadelphia should be good. Philadelphia, in my opinion, has a ceiling of about 13 wins and a floor of about 10. Like, I don't think no matter what you do, the whole team could fall apart and they probably still win 10 games. So that tells you that their talent, and I mean, this, what you look at the roster, everything you said was right. You went a little bit long on it, but everything you said was pretty much right. And I think you're honest on some parts, but your overall number is where,
let me ask you
it's
this.
Just like me. It's just like me.
Well, no.
I want my Bears to be great, but I think our number, I have to believe that losing my best receiver, like that's when I said about the Bears, losing DJ Moore, no matter if I have we have young guys that are ready to step into that position right now, and we saw it last year. Losing DJ Moore is going to hurt me, no matter what. It has to, because you can't lose a great player, because that means your second best player is that much less. Your third best player is that much less. Your fourth best player is that much less. So like, you have them stepping up. That means though you might do this, your next player standing up is not going to be the same thing as what you got. I think the same thing was going to happen with AJ Brown. Losing AJ Brown, you can't say 1,100, 1,200 yard receiver is losing him is not going to hurt you. I think that would be wrong to say. And these are things are just how things work. So,
but I'm not saying that, though. All I said was that the Eagles wanted to go back to the Super Bowl. They have to have like a top 10 offense, ranked offense. I didn't say that losing AJ Brown was just, not going to hurt. It is going to hurt. That's why I'm still making my point. But saying that they're going to hurt losing this thing, and they were already a lower ranked offense. So the offense coordinator is really going to have to work hard to do it. They're going to have to actually prove themselves. There's a lot there still on meat on the bones, and we don't know how rookies are going to perform. So I still say 10 is the low, 13 is the high. Very good still. My only question then say, because I don't want to downplay this roster, and I don't want to downplay and say that they're just very good. I do think that this is a great roster, and I say the same thing about the Rams. I think we have to hold both teams accountable to see how they actually play in the actual season. I think too many times we look at, we want to give the Rams the benefit of the doubt because of that roster. Well, they have to play the same number of games as everybody else does. But
I don't think you guys are even in the same breath as the Rams. I think I don't think team wise. If I'm ranking the NFC chances of winning the entire conference,
right.
Rams are number one.
Chance right now,
Rams here.
Number one.
Seattle is going to be higher than you. Whoever comes out of the NFC North, I will put higher than the East. I think because honestly, I think Detroit is. I hate saying this, but I think Detroit's going to have a really good chance, and they can fix the coaching, because I can't say Philadelphia needs to fix their offense with their coaching, and not say if the Detroit Lions fix their offense and their coaching that they're not going to be in that same type of position with the players that they have, because they have higher players. Like when you have a defensive end there in Detroit, it's just special. They have those type of things. So I think I probably will put you guys fourth. In the conference, not in NFL, in the conference, and with other teams being really close to you. Is it possible that the 49ers or the Bears or the Green Bay Packers or no one from the NFC South could come up and jump up there? No, I think that's 100% possible.
It's also possible that the Eagles I don't think you guys have. So again, I asked this question because you brought up the Patriots. Let's throw away recency biases and let's look at what they had. They had their third easiest schedule ever ranked in NFL history. The Eagles currently have the 7th ranked easiest schedule. You can double check for me. But can you sit there and think? Now, granted, it's before the season starts, but you tell me that you don't see a world where the Eagles could potentially go back to being a top 3 defense. Not
when I see. No, I don't think your depth.
You don't think it's possible? That's not even.
What made the Eagles so good was that there was layer after layer after layer. They had young guys even ready to come off the bench that are so better than your starters. So I think that's what made them special. I don't think that's what they are right now. I think their top end. I think their top end guys are very, very good, and that's why I say that I have them ranked 6. So I'm not poo-pooing them. I'm just telling you that there are other teams that I will put better. Yes, but it's depth. Depth can hurt anyone. Say Carter tears his
sure
something. I don't want to say it because if something happens, that's going to hurt me too. I don't want him to do anything, but Carter hurts something. Something pops in Saquon, which both of them are on my team. I really don't like any of this stuff. Or say any of these things. Something happens at right guard. I don't think they have the depth that they had before. And that's kind of where they are. I think that the Rams do have the depth right now. I think that they have a deeper team overall. I think Seattle's the same thing because they're so young and they are able to build, and they're not paying.
I think Seattle has the best up and coming secondary. I think
their defensive line was really good too. They put a lot of pressure on. We played them. Their pressure is second to none. Like that. That's really, really good. I think when you're looking at these teams, that you have to recognize there's other teams out there that are going to be pushing you.
Very good. I'm
not going to say the Eagles can do it. So I'm also not saying that the Eagles are terrible either. I don't think either guy ever said the Eagles are not great.
It's just kind of being downplayed a little bit. Saying that they're gonna be good. Though saying just good means that they're gonna be somewhere in the middle.
No, in reality, means I said 6th ranked defense, right? I said offense. You have to show me because their offense was ranked really, really low.
Bad last year.
It was really, really, really bad
last year, and that's again.
You have to show it, so I can't just assume that all the things are going to just be honky dory. I can't just assume because the Bears made it to the second round of the playoffs that they're going to be there again. That's not how things work.
No, of course not. I'm not saying that. I just want us all to hold every team to the same standard. It seems to be people want to glorize the Rams and not let's say the Super Bowl
the Rams,
for example.
who made it as far as they made it, and then added the best defensive end of all time.
but Brian, you and so many other people are treating them like they're already going to go to the NFC Championship game or win the Super Bowl.
I think they're the betting favorite. And then I was betting, they are the betting favorite. You know, but no one is without this chances of getting hurt. No one. I'm not even saying the Rams are definitely. We haven't got to the NFC East because I wanted to NFC East, NFC West because I wanted to talk about them because I believe that's going to be very competitive division, and it's possible that the Rams can win 14 games and lose the division.
Martin and I actually covered the West because he wanted, because he wanted to talk about the IU drama and whatnot. So
I still think that they can lose. I think they could both win 14 games, and Seattle have the tiebreaker and win the division, and the Rams be a 5th seed going to the playoffs.
Man, if the Rams don't win their division, and again, they should make the Super Bowl because if they don't, with that roster, there's no excuse. There is no excuse. You have the roster to do it. The only kryptonites.
There's never an excuse. It is you either win or you lose, and that's just what it is always.
Yeah, but again, especially when you're building dream teams, I would know. Eagles did that once and did not work out. But all I know is that as long as you're 2 kryptonites, you're not playing those 2 teams, you'll be good. For some reason,
they didn't build a dream team. They traded one player for another.
Are you telling me that roster is not a dream team? Look at the offseason moves that they did. Traded first round pick for Trent McDuffie. Traded first, second, and third and Jared Verse for Myles Garrett. I mean, come on. It looks like they're building a super team.
I think they're building a team that's going to be good, that's consistent. Because I love Kobe Turner. I think they have people that they homegrown. If you bring Aaron Donald back to that team, yes, it's a really, really great team. Do I think it's a super team? I can't say that. Do I love Byron Young? Yes, I do. I gotta see it. I think that what they've done now is made a good defense great. They made a top 7 defense great. If we were sitting here talking right now about Philadelphia Eagles and grabbing Max Crosby, I would be saying the same damn thing. Will I also be saying that I wouldn't be calling them a super team either because you made one trade for one player? I'm not going to say that. That's not what it is.
Team. That's it.
This is another great team that has the opportunity to do something great. I'll just say the same exact thing. I'm trying to be as consistent as I can. If Chicago Bears grab Max Crosby right now, I wouldn't be like, they're the Super Bowl. I'm not. That's the crash table. I just wouldn't be that guy.
Of course not.
That's not who I believe. I believe you have to earn everything that you're going to do. And I'm going to put you and say what you're ranking, whether you're a betting favorite, but you're going to have to show me. And if you don't have the quarterback, which the Rams do, I'm not going to believe you. If you don't have the running back, which the Rams do, then I'm not going to believe in you.
They don't have a weakness on the roster. It comes down to really probably who's ever in charge because of what we saw, what happened last year. But, I
think they deserve to be there.
That's what you're saying.
This is why they deserve to be there. Seattle won the Super Bowl. They deserve to be there. So I'm not basing this off of just, what I think recency bias or anything. Both these teams have won Super Bowls in the last 5 years. And they made their rosters better. And they already have the quarterback. And they shown that one is Stafford is probably a borderline Hall of Famer. He wins the Super Bowl. He walks into the sunset. He is it. He's in the Hall of Fame. And I'll put him in front of Eli Manning immediately. So that's that's what type of team crazy. You have right there. So I'm not, I don't think I'm just whatever because I love Myles Garrett. And but I would never put Cleveland saying they're going to make the damn playoffs. Doesn't matter how much I love a player. It's a team, and you add in that player to it, and you say what it is.
And that's why
by Philadelphia, I'm saying when I say them at 6, they're 6th best defense. They have an offense that has the best roster there, but they haven't performed. So we got to see. And that's why I say 10 to 13. If they win 13 games, it's great for me. I have Saquon Barkley. I have I have Jalen Hurts.
Saquon's great, Jalen Hurts.
I have all these guys on my team. This is what I want, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're definitely going to do it without knowing and noting where their problems are, and the depth there is not what it used to be because they had everybody. They drafted so well. They made probably the right decision to not sign some people, but it's yet to be seen. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, at worst, I can see him winning 11 or 12, and at best, I feel like I said 13 or 14, just because of looking at everything that they have. But we'll see what happens. That's the beauty of the NFL. We make all these predictions, and then watch some teams come out of nowhere and just blow everybody away, and then people will jump on the ship for those teams and be consistent again. And it's like, we'll see what happens. It's just like how I feel about the Patriots. I don't think that, they are, to quote you, they look better as a roster, but they're going to have a worse record. And I think it has to do a lot with that schedule. Anyways.
Okay. All right, guys. So we've talked about NFC East, but we have not told you guys specifically how many wins everyone's going to win. So let's go. So you said Eagles. You said 12 to 14. I'm somewhere between 10 and 13. I think that puts them about 11 and a half. So Cowboys? Where do you have the Cowboys?
I think 9 to 10.
I'm 9 to 11.
Okay, so then 10 would be the
10 is probably right there, about 10 wins. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the Commanders?
5 to 7.
I'm a little bit higher on the Commanders. I think they're a 7 to 9 time win team. Mm-hmm. If they won 9 games, I would not be surprised. But
so 5 to 7, 7 to 9. So I guess 7 would be the
7 is the number for them. And the Giants, where are you at?
Giants, I have them winning anywhere from 6 to 9.
I have them more 5 to 8.
So that would put it 7?
About 7, which is kind of what I said. Because you both see 7. So yeah, so that's kind of where
Giants take third in the division. Let's go! Come on, Giants, do it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I believe a little bit more in Jane Daniels, and I think Mark will be in here. He'll be arguing with you, but we wanted to make sure it was a regular show. So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. We argued enough. Thank everyone who came in. Sorry that Alec turned everyone off because of his Eagles love, but you know what?
Sorry, Byron. Use his recency biases. Get out of here.
He deserves to be able to love his team, and we'll let him love for. Maybe I did a little.
What I tell you. I bet you they're a Commanders fan too. That said it. Like I said earlier, they're everywhere. RG4.
We'll see you guys again on Wednesday when we go through the NFC South. Till then, see you later. Peace.
See you guys. Go Birds.